Now, listen, you guys, shortly after posting that exclusive with Megan's lawyers claiming that there is no new evidence that's going to come out, the Shade Room decided to go ahead and release yet another exclusive, never before seen footage of Tory Lanez and everything that transpired in that jail that landed him in the hospital. Now, we're going to be discussing about that, and we're also going to be talking about the timing for the Shade Room. And at the same time, Cardi B is out there having a lot of fun outside with her alleged new boyfriend. And we're going to be talking about what this man is being accused of doing. And Nicci Gilbert is also coming through apologizing, which has me questioning, what do the celebrities know that we regular folk don't? Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the tea blog. I trust you guys are doing well, and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great, you guys. I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So, first of all, let us talk about this entire Tory Lanez exclusive footage. Okay. Now, earlier on, I did a video and I was talking about the Shade Room having an exclusive interview with Megan's team where I don't know what they were trying to do because they were self-contradicting so much to the point where I was like, okay, is this scrambling? What is going on? Because on that, exclusive, they were basically calling out Tory Lanez's team saying that, well, there is no footage that is coming. They've been saying the same thing for the longest of time, only to not release anything. And they are saying that what they are claiming is new evidence, is evidence that had already been presented to the court. So they were basically being very dismissive about the alleged new evidence that Tory's team came out claiming. Now, when it pertains to the new evidence, of course, we are yet to see if Tory Lanez's team really do have, new footage when it pertains to that case. But what I found rather hilarious is Megan's team trying to shame Tory Lanez's team for going to the public and issuing press release statements because they were like, okay, why do they need to hold these, press releases? Like, why can't they just go to court? Like, why are they trying so hard to win, in the public's eyes? Nobody cares. And I'm just like, ma'am, aren't you doing the same thing? You are literally on the Shade Room, giving your own side of the story, trying to debunk what the other side was saying. The Shade Room. Not even Fox. No. CNN, no. None. Nothing like that. The Shade Room. And you have the audacity to come out here to say that, oh my God, the court of public opinion doesn't matter. The man was convicted. I mean, for you to go to the Shade Room, it means that you know the importance of having the public by your side. You know the importance of winning in the court of public opinion. So that in itself, I was like, this to me is giving scrambling because what are you even saying? You're literally with the Shade Room. But then again, hold that thought because, well, we might actually get the answer as to why the Shade Room got to get that exclusive before Fox or any other official formal news platforms. Aside from the fact that obviously if they were to go to Fox, there would be questions that don't care about any fan fueled narratives. Like, they will ask them genuine objective questions because Fox is not about to be out there getting polarized for Fraudulent Nation. Fox does not care about who Jay-Z is. The Shade Room does. Any pop culture blog does, because of the perceived power that man has. So obviously they would be questioned way more thoroughly if they were to go to these other platforms. So honestly, yeah, that's the other reason. But the other reason, we will get to it in this video. Walk with me, okay? Now, shortly after, the Shade Room decided to drop an exclusive footage of what transpired in as far as the Tory Lanez jail situation that landed in the hospital is concerned. I cannot say the word. I can't say it on YouTube, but you get the situation that I'm talking about. So they decided to release an exclusive footage about that. And honestly, I was struggling to watch it because it is just so graphic that I couldn't even insert it on, on YouTube. Even the Shade Room themselves, they couldn't even insert it on Instagram. They had to post it on their Twitter page because of just how much graphic it was. It was literally so sad to watch. Now, people, of course, started evaluating whether that interview that the PDF who did that was given, whether what he was claiming was consistent with the footage. And of course, it was contradicting. This man made it seem like Tory was out to get him and Tory was about to attack him and stuff like that. They were basically trying to paint Tory to be this person who was being problematic even in jail. But what that footage has shown the people is exactly opposite to what that PDF was saying. If anything, Tory did look clueless. He didn't even try to retaliate. All he could do was try to walk away, try to drag himself away from the situation. So that entire situation, that, well, it was self-defense and all of that thing. And the way that men kept on going and going and going, you could tell that he was intending to actually off Tory. You could tell that he was intending to literally take his And you could tell that it was also targeted. And that just made people have more questions as to who would want to target Tory Lanez. People started also putting think pieces together, saying that allegedly just before the attack, a couple of days before the attack, Tory's team had reached out to the other team to say that, well, there's new evidence that we have. So was that a coincidence that a couple of days later this would happen to Tory? Well, food for thought. That being said also, this entire Tory Lanez situation is way more complicated than just Megan Thee Stallion. Because if it does come out, especially soon after this footage, if it does come out that indeed Tory Lanez did not intentionally pew-pew this man, if it comes out that, well, Tory Lanez actually, if it did happen that, well, he touched the pew-pew, if it happens that, well, he touched it because he was trying to de-escalate the situation between the two friends, or if it comes out that, in fact, he never really did anything, it will not just affect Bongo 2, like I said. This entire situation is way dangerous. It will affect Bongo 2 and everybody that was out there supporting her, including the man from Fraudulent Nation. And honestly, I know that the man from Fraudulent Nation will not just give up like that. He will probably try his best to make sure that this doesn't happen. And I don't really know what lengths that man would go to, but it's getting interesting. And after seeing that footage, if indeed this girl lied on Tory, I could see why she would want to drink every single day. Because imagine the guilt that would stay with her. Like, I cannot believe lying on someone and then watching a video like that. Or I cannot believe misrepresenting the facts when someone was trying to de-escalate a situation and I stand there and act like I don't know that they were trying to de-escalate the situation and it went south. And then later I see a footage like that. There is no way that I would be able to sleep with myself. So for her sake and for her master's sake, I do hope that she was telling the truth. And I do hope that however she narrated it was the truth. Now, let's circle back to the Shade Room. Remember how I was asking you, how come the Shade Room is the one that got to get the exclusive? Let us talk about the timing. Do you guys not find it odd that a couple of hours before this jail footage was released by the Shade Room, they decided to release that exclusive with Megan's team? Was just a coincidence, Or did the Shade Room tell these people that, well, we have got an exclusive footage that may sway the public's opinion when it comes to Tory? Most likely they're going to sympathize with him because of what is being shown in there. Could it be that they reached out to Fraudulent Nation and told them that, well, this is what's happening, so you have to go ahead of the narrative and try and debunk these things before we put out, this footage? Could it be the reason why the Shade Room got the exclusive instead of other platforms? I mean, instead of at least TMZ? Honestly, I don't know, you guys. This whole situation is very complicated and it's a lot of fishy things. It's a lot of questions, really. Because the timing in itself, I'm just like, it looks like somebody who's trying to get ahead of the narrative of the chaos that is actually going to follow. But anyway, some people are coming through with interesting questions, including academics. I really thought that, well, some of his questions really are important. Now, after seeing the footage, this is what he wrote. They said footage of Tory Lanez being brutally has now surfaced. Tory walks out of his cell, stretches, walks past the stairs, then looks over the balcony when a man rushes him 14 times. Tory falls on his back and fights back, gets out of his sweater and runs down the stairs. You can see in this video that Tory had nothing in his pocket, meaning he was not intending to retaliate against his attacker, as he claimed in his interview. Police did not even try to attempt to stop his attacker, which is highly suspicious. Police used no mace, no gas, which is regularly used to stop a attack. Okay? They went further to say that all signs in that building say no warning. The rulebook says if one person is using a weapon and another person is defenseless, that the tower must use lethal force. In this case, we get no to non-lethal intervention and no lethal intervention. Tory is basically alive because he got up and ran. They set him up and wanted that to happen. Who put the attacker in contact with TMZ and who has been in contact with TMZ since the beginning? Who put the edge out on Tory? This situation is actually getting way more messier and it's getting darker and dirty. Let me know if you've got any answers to academics' questions. Let me know. Now, that being said, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. I really don't know, after talking about something this sensitive and this serious, like, yeah, this is why I normally avoid, this entire topic, because it's just too graphic for my liking. I like to keep things light on this channel. So if you guys seeing me kind of hesitant about going all in on this, it's emotionally draining. For both ends, the thought of a man pew-pewing a woman and the thought of a woman lying that, a man pew-pewed me. It's just a lot to process. Let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about, the Transformer. It seems like she is out there having a lot of fun with her new boo, Steffon Diggs, who is now being accused of doing this, substances that we cannot mention. They are saying that, well, there is a sachet that he is holding and it does look like it has substance. And so now people are saying that, oh my God, is he having her do that? And I'm just like, guys, how did you gather that from that video? And people are also noticing that is out there seemingly flirting with several other women. So it's just a lot of things. People are like, well, it looks like she might have moved from Offset to yet another worse person, actually, because what are you doing? But to me, honestly, I still feel like it is giving PR. If it's not a PR stunt, it's probably a music video that they are filming, because this cannot be real. You cannot tell me that this is a mother of 3 children out there doing that. A rich mother of 3 children, actually, because I mean, if you were doing it to get money or whatever, I'd get it, but you don't have to. So Why would you subject yourself to such? But then again, like I always say on this channel, if she likes it, we absolutely love it. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about, Nicci Gilbert, like I told you, she came out here apologizing to Tory Lanez, saying that, well, by the time that she wrote a very long statement supporting Megan and saying that justice was served and stuff like that, she hadn't gotten all the facts, and she still feels like, well, if there is evidence that's being suppressed, she does feel like, well, it has to be brought out there, and she's very apologetic, really, about what she might have said in the past. People came for her neck, of course. People were like, okay, you are a black woman. You are supposed to be a feminist. You're supposed to support a fellow woman. You know, the activists, the internet activists, they came for her. And according to her, to the point where her family was reaching out to her to say that, what's going on? But even after all that, it seems like she's not backing down, which has me now questioning, like, what do these celebrities know that we do not? For some reason, it seems like people who are actually in the industry are taking Tory's side. And I'm like, what is it that they know? What is happening? When I tell you this lady made another 9-minute long video, still doubling down, I'm not joking. And I'm basically going to insert that video, of course, at the end of this video. But just let me know, you guys, what you think about this mess. And this is so draining. My God. I don't think that after I insert that, I'm going to be coming back. That being said, so thank you very much, you guys, for watching. And thank you very much for making it this far. If you have not already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and do turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time that I post. And until my next one, see you.
We gonna see if the Uda gonna let us come through, because I got some things to say. We're gonna be on WIRF.TV YouTube channel, and yeah, it's like interesting how they say we're letting people know that you're live. Hello. Thank you for stopping in. Hello, y'all. Hello. Hi, everybody. What's up, beautiful people? We got to chat real quick. I got some stuff to say, because I see my name is all over the internet on this here day. My name is all over the internet. And I just want to clarify a couple of things really quick, guys. So, hi, everyone. Hey, how are you? Thank y'all for bopping in here. It's been a minute. I'm coming back from a workout. And getting my blood flowing and getting my energy and stuff up. But I want to address, and I'm going to go live on my YouTube channel because, Instagram has me I'm probably on that list of folks that, don't always reach you all. So I appreciate the people who come in. But I want to address something really important, because I see this narrative is starting to pick up some steam, and I think it's important when you see things to kind of nip them in the bud. It used to be the celebrities, didn't respond to stuff, and like, I ain't even gonna respond to that. But I had a couple people in my family reach out, and they're like, I had to get under there and check some people. First of all, I love and appreciate everybody who feels the need to speak up on my behalf so much from the bottom of my heart. But I would rather people not, get in the weeds of the comments, right? The Tory Lanez things. Thank you for subscribing to WIRF TV YouTube. WIRF.TV is a YouTube channel. So real quick, guys, before they bump me off of this live, because, that's how I be going. The Tory Lanez apology. Shout out to my brother Beehive. I love having the opportunity to sit down and have conversations with Beehive. He's really, really smart brother. He's a professor at CAU, and I met him. I think I met Beehive during radio, and we always have, really intellectually stimulating conversations that are not a part of that group think mentality that a lot of us engage in, right? So, I'm getting a lot of questions about, oh, I thought you were a girl's girl. I thought you were pro-women and this and that and the third, because, Beehive brought up the Tory Lanez situation, and I watched his father's interview, and I've watched a few other things, and I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to make it a habit of commenting on things when I haven't pulled the PACER, P-A-C-E-R, if you know what that is, you know, and I haven't followed this case verbatim, right? I am apologizing to Tory Lanez because I kind of jumped the gun and had a few things to say because I was really infuriated at the thought of a black man hurting a black woman. And, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't have any ill regard for Tory. I don't have any ill regard for Meg. I didn't pull the paperwork. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't get all the information. And we're going to go unpack this a little bit more. But as I stated, shout out to Celicia Johnson, who made a comment saying that I should retract, you know, my apology. And I understand why some people might feel that way. So I don't want to offend anybody, right? Contrary to popular belief, I'm not in the business of offending people. But when you have been a part of a system, and this isn't about, you know, trying to redirect the conversation to my plight, but you have to base your opinion on your own personal experiences and your firsthand knowledge of things, right? So first of all, first thing is I was not there. I don't know what happened. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm not saying anybody was wrong because I don't have enough of the information to really formulate an opinion like I did a year or two ago, taking plaques off the wall. And, you know, it was a very dramatic response to something that I just didn't have enough information on, right? I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. Leaving it at that. What I am saying is for certain is that I understand the perspective of someone who is in a system where they feel like they weren't given an opportunity to fully argue their case, where they feel like they weren't in a situation where they could present all of their facts, where they feel like facts that they presented were redacted, were taken out. You know, I've been in the system and felt like my due process rights were violated. I've been in the system and I felt like I didn't have a chance to fully argue my case. And I've seen cases where people have been in jail for 20 or 30 years and they get out and it's discovered that they were innocent the whole time, right? So being armed with all of that information, knowing that there are people who get convicted of things and all the evidence points to... Let's open the door for my husband. And all the evidence points to their guilt. And then you later discover that there's new evidence that has come up. And that new evidence has now shown everybody that these people either, you know, were convicted of something they did not do or weren't given a fair opportunity at a trial. So as someone who feels and believes that I didn't have my rights to due process, as someone who feels like I didn't, you know, my evidence and my facts were not presented properly, who am I to sit back and be like, yeah, well, that only applies to me. It don't apply to Tory, or it don't apply to the man that did 30 years and got discovered that he was innocent. It doesn't apply to a lot of black men who are serving time in jail, who haven't even been convicted, who don't even have the money for bail, right? So we can't in one breath say that the judicial system, you know, is not always fair to black people. We can't in one breath say, you know, these people did not experience due process. And then when someone who was actually there, none of us was there. Y'all wasn't there, I wasn't there, we wasn't there. When someone who was actually there steps up and says, I was there, I saw it, I didn't say anything, I feel bad about it, I can't let this happen, this is what happened, right? I understand that there's still much more to the story and more things that need to be discovered. But I believe that process should happen. And that's what my conversation with Beehive was about. So all of y'all talking about I'm pro women getting abused and getting shot, that's ignorant, and obviously you don't know me. And honestly, I don't really care to explain myself because I've spent my life advocating for women and women's rights. And it's part of the reason why I was loud and wrong by having an opinion about something that I didn't have enough information about. And as a community, we do that shit too much. And I'm 55 in July, about to be 55. So I need to say to all of the people who have insults connected to their perspective, on my apology, that was for Tory Lanez, not you. I don't care. I want you to understand from the bottom of my soul and from the bottom of my heart, it doesn't matter. But for those people who really felt some type of way about me changing my perspective on this and really want to understand why I did it, this explanation is for y'all. Because I spoke before I had all the facts. And if there is any possibility that facts were omitted, that deserves to be explored. Because we understand as a community that a lot of times that happens. I'm not saying it happened here, I don't know. I'm smart enough to say this time I don't have an opinion, except if, and I know if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but if there's any possibility that there was evidence that wasn't included, that evidence deserves to be presented. I stand with women. I stand against abuse. I stand against violence. I stand against gun violence. And I also stand against people not being able to present their evidence and lack of due process, okay? So we're going to talk about it a little bit more on WIRF.tv. I invite anybody who maybe feels like I'm wrong or out of pocket from my perspective to come on and come up and join the conversation, and let's unpack it and see what it is. Because if we really care about each other, the bottom line is we should want everything to be fair. And we should want everybody to have a right to due process, okay? So let's talk about it on WIRF.tv. And to all of you mean fucks out here thinking that you hurting a grown-ass 55-year-old woman's feelings with your ill-informed opinions, go somewhere, please, and do something productive with your life. Because we don't care over here. All right, y'all. Love you. Peace. And I'll see y'all tonight on WIRF.tv YouTube.